If you don't take yourself seriously, you'll never achieve what you truly want. This is not just a motivational statement. It's the truth that changes everything about success. You can work tirelessly, put in endless hours, but if you fail to recognize the importance of valuing yourself, success will always feel out of reach. Let's be clear. Success is not some elusive thing that comes only to the lucky few. It's not about waiting for the right moment or hoping for a stroke of good fortune. Success begins the moment you decide to take yourself seriously. It's a mindset, an intentional approach to how you show up in your own life. Too many people spend years spinning their wheels, working hard, but without a clear focus, direction, or respect for their own potential. They keep waiting for the right opportunities to come, but the reality is that these opportunities are being created every single day by the actions you take or don't take. Most people live their lives with external distractions, constantly chasing after approval or validation from others. They give in to the pressures around them, comparing their journey to others and allowing the noise to drown out their own inner voice. But the truth is, success doesn't lie outside of you, it starts within. If you can't take yourself seriously, you will never unlock the full potential that lies within. You will miss the chance to create your own path, to lead yourself, and to achieve greatness on your terms. The key difference between those who succeed and those who struggle is the ability to recognize their own worth and take responsibility for their actions. Success is not just about what you do. It's about how you approach what you do and the mindset you cultivate along the way. People who achieve their goals consistently don't just hope for success. They create it. They recognize that the foundation for all achievement is built on the belief that they are worthy of success and that they have the power to make it happen. In the next 60 minutes, we are going to explore how you can shift your mindset and transform your life by taking yourself seriously. You are not waiting for success to find you. You're going to actively build it. This isn't a one-time fix, but a continuous journey of growth, responsibility, and self-discipline. You will learn how to identify the habits that will take you closer to your goals and start taking the small, consistent actions that will lead to massive changes. You don't have to wait until everything is perfect. You don't need to wait for the right conditions or for a better time. The best time to start is right now. Success begins with making the decision to take control, to take yourself seriously, and to make consistent, deliberate choices that align with your goals. This journey isn't just for those who are already successful. It's for anyone who's ready to rise to the challenge, take action, and make the most of their potential. Throughout these 8 chapters, we will dive deep into the key principles that will help you unlock your true potential. Each chapter will focus on a specific area of growth, whether it's mastering your time, building discipline, setting clear goals, or overcoming obstacles that stand in your way. We'll break down each concept with actionable strategies and practical exercises so that you can implement these lessons in real time. This isn't about just listening to information. It's about taking real action and making tangible progress toward your goals. Here's what we'll cover. Chapter 1. Understanding the mindset of success. Chapter 2. Mastering your emotions and thoughts. Chapter 3. Building unbreakable self-discipline. Chapter 4. Overcoming procrastination and excuses. Chapter 5. Setting clear and actionable goals. Chapter 6. Building positive habits for long-term success. Chapter 7. Developing resilience and learning from failure. Chapter 8. Taking consistent action and evaluating your progress. By the end of this session, you will not only have a greater understanding of what it means to take yourself seriously, but you will also have a practical roadmap for how to implement this mindset into every aspect of your life. It's time to stop waiting for success to come to you. It's time to start building your success with intention and purpose. Remember, this isn't about motivation alone. Motivation will come and go. What you need is a commitment to higher standards, to consistent effort, and to mastering yourself. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be consistent. You need to be disciplined. And most importantly, you need to take yourself seriously. Today marks the beginning of your transformation. It's not about big dramatic changes all at once. It's about taking small, deliberate steps toward building a life of purpose and success. The first step starts now. You have the power to change everything. You have the power to take control of your life, and it begins the moment you decide that you are worthy of success, that you are capable of achieving everything you want. So let's begin this journey together. Let's take ourselves seriously, and let's make success happen. Chapter 1. Understanding the mindset of success. Success begins in the mind. It's not just about what you do. It's about how you think, how you perceive yourself, and how you approach challenges. In this chapter, we will explore the mindset that leads to success and why cultivating the right mindset is the foundation for everything you want to achieve. Pain. The silent blockers of success. Most people spend their entire lives chasing success without ever fully understanding what it really means. They believe that success is about external achievements, getting the promotion, earning the money, or receiving the recognition. But the truth is, success begins from within. It's easy to get distracted by what everyone else is doing, constantly comparing your progress to theirs. This external focus keeps you from looking inward, where the real power lies. Without the right mindset, all the hard work in the world will only get you so far. It's not just about what you do. It's about how you do it. Do you approach challenges with the belief that you can overcome them? Or do you shy away from difficult situations because you think you're not capable? Do you look at setbacks as opportunities for growth, or do you view them as failures? The answers to these questions shape your path. The truth is, the biggest obstacle to success is often not external circumstances. It's the mindset that we carry with us every day. If you don't believe you deserve success, or if you don't believe in your own potential, you'll sabotage yourself before you even begin. This is the silent blocker that keeps most people from reaching their full potential. Principle. Success starts with self-belief. The first step towards success is understanding that your thoughts shape your reality. Your mindset determines how you approach challenges, how you deal with setbacks, and how you react to opportunities. This principle is simple but profound. If you want to succeed, you have to believe that you are capable of success. Success is not a matter of waiting for the right circumstances or the right time. It's about showing up every day, ready to take action, and believing that you have what it takes to make things happen. This means letting go of the limiting beliefs that have been holding you back. It means challenging the negative thoughts that say, "I'm not good enough," or "I can't do it." The most successful people are not necessarily the most talented or the luckiest. They are the ones who believe in themselves even when the odds are stacked against them. They are the ones who show up day after day with the mindset that success is possible no matter the obstacles. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to believe that you can figure it out. This mindset of self-belief is the key to unlocking your potential. It's not about being perfect. It's about having the courage to take that first step and then the persistence to keep going, no matter what. Picture the power of self-reflection. Imagine you're standing at the edge of a cliff. Below you, there's a vast valley. In front of you, there's a narrow path that leads to the other side. The journey looks daunting, and it feels as if you might fall at any moment. But here's the catch. This path is the only way forward. Now, imagine that you hesitate. You stand there, paralyzed by fear, wondering if you're strong enough to make it. Your thoughts tell you that the journey is too difficult, that you'll never make it to the other side. You feel your knees shake and you begin to doubt yourself. But what if, instead, you believed that you were strong enough to cross the path? What if you trusted yourself to handle whatever came your way? The path would still be difficult, but your mindset would make the journey easier. You'd move forward with confidence, knowing that the obstacles along the way were just temporary challenges to overcome. This is the power of belief. When you believe in yourself, You're not afraid to face challenges head-on. You trust that, no matter what happens, you will figure out a way to succeed. The path becomes less intimidating because you know you have what it takes to cross it. Practice. Shifting your mindset to success. The most important shift you need to make is to stop thinking of success as something that happens to you and start thinking of it as something you create. The first step to creating success is changing your internal dialogue. When you catch yourself thinking negative thoughts, when you tell yourself that you're not good enough, or that success is out of your reach, stop right there. Challenge those thoughts. Ask yourself, is this thought serving me? Is this thought helping me move forward? Here's a simple practice to help you begin shifting your mindset. Acknowledge negative thoughts. When you notice a negative thought creeping in, acknowledge it. Don't try to ignore it. Just notice it and accept that it's there. Challenge the thought. Ask yourself if the thought is true. Where's the evidence for it? More often than not, these negative thoughts are based on fear, not reality. Replace with empowering thoughts. Once you've challenged the negative thought, replace it with something more empowering. For example, instead of thinking, "I'll never be able to do this," tell yourself, "I have everything I need to succeed. I will find a way." The more you practice this, the easier it becomes to shift your mindset. It's not about eradicating negative thoughts completely. It's about learning to challenge them and choosing to focus on the empowering thoughts that propel you forward. Prompt. Ask yourself the tough questions. To help reinforce this new mindset, here are 3 questions to reflect on. What limiting beliefs have I been holding on to that are preventing me from reaching my potential? What would I do if I truly believed I could succeed? How can I take action today to move one step closer to my goal? Answer these questions honestly and let them guide you towards shifting your mindset. Punchline. You are the creator of your success. The truth is that your success begins with the way you think. Your mindset shapes the way you approach every challenge, every opportunity, and every obstacle. When you believe in yourself, when you take yourself seriously, you start to see the world in a different way. The path ahead might still be difficult, but you'll know that no matter what, you're capable of overcoming it. Success is not something that happens by chance. It's something that you create every single day, starting with the thoughts you choose to believe. Chapter 2. Mastering your emotions for success. In the journey to success, mastering your emotions is just as important as mastering your skills. Our emotions often guide our decisions, influence our behavior, and even determine the outcomes of our effort. In this chapter, we'll discuss how to take control of your emotions, how to use them to your advantage, and how emotional mastery plays a key role in reaching your goals. Pain. Emotional reactivity and its impact. Imagine you're in the middle of an important meeting and something goes wrong. Your heart races, your mind spins, and before you know it, you're reacting emotionally, not thinking clearly. You feel the anger, frustration, or anxiety take over, and you might even say or do something in the heat of the moment that you regret later. How often have you found yourself in situations like this? Most people, when faced with pressure, allow their emotions to control their reactions. Whether it's anger, frustration, fear, or stress, emotions often drive us to act impulsively, clouding our judgment and sabotaging our ability to think rationally. Emotional reactivity can undermine your success by preventing you from making sound decisions, leading to poor outcomes. When you're driven by emotions instead of logic, you're reacting to life rather than responding to it. This is the key difference between those who are successful and those who are not. Successful people learn to control their emotions, whereas unsuccessful people let their emotions control them. Principle. Emotions are signals, not commands. Emotions are a natural part of being human. They are not inherently good or bad. They are simply signals that alert us to something happening in our environment or within ourselves. The mistake people make is thinking that their emotions are commands, that they must act on every emotional impulse that arises. This is where emotional mastery comes in, learning to separate the feeling from the action. The principle here is simple. Emotions are signals, not commands. When you learn to view your emotions as signals, you can respond to them in a more controlled and thoughtful way. Instead of being overwhelmed by anger or fear, you can pause, reflect, and decide how to react in a way that aligns with your goals and values. For example, when you feel anxious before a big presentation, you can acknowledge the anxiety without letting it paralyze you. Rather than avoiding the situation or letting your fear dictate your behavior, you can choose to harness that energy, channel it into focus, and give your best performance. Emotional mastery means you don't suppress your emotions or ignore them. You acknowledge them and use them as information to make better decisions. By recognizing emotions for what they are, signals of internal states, you can prevent them from running the show. Picture the power of emotional awareness. Imagine you are driving through a busy city and suddenly a car cuts you off. Your first instinct is to get angry. You feel the blood rush to your head, your grip tightens on the steering wheel, and your heart beats faster. But then, you take a deep breath and recognize that you have a choice. You can either react emotionally and let that anger drive you, or you can pause, acknowledge the emotion, and let it go. Now, picture yourself making the choice to pause. You acknowledge the anger, but instead of acting on it, you choose to remain calm. You let the feeling pass, and soon you realize that the situation no longer has any power over you. You've taken back control. You're not at the mercy of your emotions. You've chosen how to respond. This is the power of emotional awareness. When you are aware of your emotions, you have the ability to choose how you respond to them. You can make decisions from a place of calmness and clarity, rather than being clouded by impulsive emotional reactions. Practice. Techniques for emotional control. Mastering your emotions is not something that happens overnight. It's a skill that takes time and practice. But with the right techniques, you can start to regain control over your emotions and use them to your advantage. Here are 3 practical steps to begin mastering your emotions. Pause and breathe. The first step in emotional mastery is learning to pause before you react. When you feel an emotion rising, take a moment to breathe. Focus on your breath for a few seconds. This simple pause allows you to step back and gain perspective on the situation before reacting impulsively. Label your emotions. Instead of being overwhelmed by your emotions, label them. Identify what you're feeling, whether it's anger, fear, frustration, or excitement. Naming the emotion helps you detach from it and understand what's happening within you. Once you name it, you can respond to it more consciously. Reframe the situation. Often, our emotional reactions come from how we interpret a situation. Practice reframing the way you view stressful or negative situations. For example, instead of seeing a challenge as a threat, view it as an opportunity to grow. Reframing helps you shift from a fear-based response to a growth-based response. These techniques, when practiced consistently, will help you develop greater emotional control and awareness. You'll start to respond to situations with more intention, and you'll be able to make decisions from a place of clarity rather than emotional impulse. Prompt: reflect on your emotional patterns. To help reinforce emotional mastery, take a moment to reflect on your emotional patterns. Ask yourself, what are the most common emotions that I struggle with in challenging situations? How do these emotions affect my decisions and actions? What can I do to respond more consciously the next time I feel overwhelmed by emotion? Chapter 3. Building Unbreakable. Self-discipline. Self-discipline is one of the most important qualities you can cultivate on your journey to success. It's the ability to stay focused on your goals, follow through on your commitments, and make decisions that align with your long-term vision, even when faced with distractions, temptations, or moments of doubt. In this chapter, we'll dive into the concept of self-discipline, why it's essential for success, and how you can build an unbreakable level of discipline that will carry you through any challenge. Pain, the struggle with consistency. Think back to the last time you set a goal or started a new project. You were excited, full of energy, and motivated. But as time went on, the excitement faded. The initial burst of motivation that drove you to start began to dwindle. Maybe you found yourself procrastinating, making excuses, or simply losing focus. You told yourself that you'd get back on track, but each time you tried, it became harder to maintain the momentum. This is the struggle that many people face when it comes to self-discipline. It's easy to start something, but staying consistent, especially over the long term, is where most people fall short. The difference between those who achieve their goals and those who don't lies in their ability to stay disciplined when motivation fades. Without self-discipline, even the most ambitious goals can remain out of reach. The truth is, self-discipline is not about forcing yourself to work hard when you feel motivated. It's about making a commitment to yourself and sticking to it, regardless of how you feel in the moment. It's about doing what needs to be done, even when it's uncomfortable, inconvenient, or when your mind tells you that it's okay to skip it just this once. Principle. Self-discipline is the bridge between goals and achievement. Self-discipline is the bridge between where you are now and where you want to be. It's the force that pushes you to keep going, even when it's hard. Discipline is what separates those who dream from those who achieve. You can have the best ideas, the most ambitious goals, and the perfect plan, but without self-discipline, none of it matters. Discipline is what turns thoughts into actions, and actions into results. The principle behind building self-discipline is simple. It's not about waiting for the right motivation. It's about creating the habit of consistency. When you build self-discipline, you don't need motivation to get started. You've already developed the habit of doing the work, regardless of how you feel. Self-discipline is about taking small, consistent actions that align with your long-term goals. It's the ability to say no to short-term distractions in favor of long-term progress. It's about creating a structure for yourself that allows you to stay focused on what matters, even when life throws distractions your way. Picture the power of consistency. Imagine a person who works out every single day, no matter what. They don't always feel like it, and some days are harder than others. But they've made a commitment to themselves to show up every day. Over time, their bodies become stronger, their energy levels increase, and their overall health improves. What started as a small daily habit has now become a powerful routine that has transformed their life. Now, imagine this person's life beyond fitness. Maybe they want to learn a new skill, build a business, or write a book. The same principles apply. Every day, they show up, do the work, and stay disciplined. Over time, the results compound. What once seemed impossible becomes achievable simply because they have built the habit of consistency. The power of self-discipline lies in its ability to create a snowball effect. Every small act of discipline adds up over time, creating momentum that carries you forward. In the beginning, it may feel like little progress is being made, but as time passes, the compound effect of your daily efforts leads to incredible results. Self-discipline doesn't just help you achieve your goals, it helps you build the life you've always wanted. Cultivating self-discipline. Through small habits. Building unbreakable. Self-discipline doesn't happen overnight. It's a gradual process that requires commitment, patience, and consistency. But with the right approach, you can develop the self-discipline necessary to achieve your goals. Here's how to get started. Start small and build gradually. Trying to overhaul your entire life overnight is a recipe for burnout. Instead, start with small, manageable habits that you can easily commit to. For example, if your goal is to get fit, start by working out for 10 minutes a day, then gradually increase the time as you build the habit. Create a routine. Successful people have a structured routine that keeps them on track. Whether it's waking up early, setting aside time for focused work, or carving out time for self-care, a routine ensures that you are consistently moving toward your goals. Identify the habits that will help you achieve your objectives and make them non-negotiable parts of your day. Hold yourself accountable. It's easy to make excuses when you don't have someone holding you accountable. Whether it's a friend, a mentor, or a coach, having someone to check in with will help you stay disciplined. Alternatively, you can hold yourself accountable by tracking your progress and setting measurable goals. Learn to say no. One of the most powerful aspects of self-discipline is learning to say no to distractions and temptations. Whether it's social media, unnecessary meetings, or time-wasting activities, being able to say no and stay focused on what matters is essential for long-term success. Embrace discomfort. Self-discipline often involves doing things that are uncomfortable or difficult. Whether it's waking up early to work on your goals or pushing through a tough workout, embracing discomfort is part of the process. The more you push yourself outside of your comfort zone, the stronger your discipline will become. Chapter 4. Overcoming procrastination and excuses. Procrastination is one of the most common barriers to success. It's the habit of delaying important tasks, often due to fear, uncertainty, or a lack of motivation. While procrastination may feel like a natural part of life, it is a behavior that can seriously hinder your progress. In this chapter, we'll discuss why procrastination happens, how it affects your goals, and most importantly, how you can overcome it and take consistent action. Pain. The trap of delaying tasks. Think about the last time you procrastinated. Maybe you put off a big project at work, or perhaps you delayed starting an important personal goal. At first, it might have seemed like no big deal. After all, there's always tomorrow to get things done, right? But as time passed, the pressure built up. The task became more daunting, and the longer you waited, the more stressed you became. Eventually, the task feels overwhelming, and you find yourself even further from the goal you set. This is the vicious cycle of procrastination. What starts as a small delay turns into a major roadblock. The more you procrastinate, the harder it becomes to start, and the more excuses you make. You might tell yourself that you'll get started tomorrow, or that you'll work better under pressure. But the truth is, procrastination is a form of avoidance. It's a way of avoiding discomfort or fear, even if it means sacrificing long-term success. The biggest danger of procrastination is that it steals your time and keeps you from reaching your potential. Every day you delay your goals, you're giving away valuable opportunities for growth and achievement. The longer you wait, the more distant your dreams become, and the harder it is to regain momentum. Principle. Action overcomes resistance. The principle behind overcoming procrastination is simple. Action overcomes resistance. The hardest part of any task is getting started. Once you take that first step, the momentum begins to build, and the task no longer feels as overwhelming. Action is the antidote to procrastination. The key to beating procrastination is not to wait for the perfect moment or for motivation to strike. It's about taking immediate, small steps toward your goal. When you break down big tasks into manageable chunks, the fear and resistance you feel start to fade. You begin to see progress, and that progress fuels more action. A powerful strategy for overcoming procrastination is the 5-minute rule. This rule states that you should commit to working on a task for just 5 minutes. Once you start, you'll often find that it's easier to keep going. By committing to small bursts of action, you reduce the mental resistance that comes with starting, and before you know it, you've made significant progress. Picture the power of small wins. Imagine you're sitting at your desk, facing a massive to-do list. The thought of completing everything feels overwhelming. So you decide to take action with the 5-minute rule. You pick one task that has been hanging over you for days and set a timer for 5 minutes. At first, it feels uncomfortable, but as you dive in, you realize that the task isn't as hard as you thought. The more you work on it, the easier it becomes. In no time, 5 minutes turns into 15 minutes and then 30. You're no longer feeling paralyzed by the size of the task. You're building momentum. Every small step you take creates a sense of accomplishment that drives you forward. What once seemed impossible is now within reach, simply because you took the first step. This is the power of small wins. When you break down tasks into manageable pieces and focus on taking one step at a time, you start to see results. Those small wins accumulate and build the momentum you need to finish the task. The key is to keep going, even when you don't feel like it. Practice. Strategies for beating procrastination. Here are 3 practical strategies to help you overcome procrastination and stay on track. Break tasks into smaller pieces. One of the main reasons we procrastinate is because the task feels too big. To combat this, break your tasks into smaller, more manageable parts. For example, instead of writing an entire report, start by writing one paragraph. Instead of cleaning the entire house, focus on one room. Small, specific goals are easier to tackle and don't feel as overwhelming. Use the 5-minute rule. As mentioned, commit to working for just 5 minutes. The key is to start. Often, the hardest part is simply beginning. Once you start, you'll find that the momentum will carry you forward. Even if you don't feel like continuing, completing just 5 minutes can be enough to make progress. Eliminate distractions. Procrastination is often fueled by distractions. To stay focused, remove anything that could divert your attention from the task at hand. Turn off your phone, close unnecessary browser tabs, or move to a quiet space where you can focus. The more you eliminate distractions, the easier it is to stay on task. Set a deadline. Setting a deadline for yourself helps create a sense of urgency. It prevents you from pushing tasks aside indefinitely. When you have a clear time frame, you are more likely to take action and complete the task. Accountability. Share your goals with someone else, whether it's a friend, family member, or co-worker. Having someone to hold you accountable increases your chances of following through. Set check-ins with your accountability partner to discuss your progress and keep you on track. Chapter 5. Setting clear and actionable goals. Having a clear vision of your goals is one of the most important components of success. Without clear goals, it's easy to drift through life without a sense of direction or purpose. In this chapter, we'll dive into the importance of setting clear and actionable goals, how to break them down into manageable steps, and how to stay on track to achieve them. Pain. The danger of undefined goals. Many people go through life with vague ideas of what they want, but they never take the time to define clear, actionable goals. They might have an idea of wanting to be successful, wanting to be healthier, or wanting to be wealthy. But without a clear plan, these desires remain nothing more than wishes. The danger of having undefined goals is that they lack clarity. When you don't have specific goals to work toward, it becomes easy to get distracted by the demands of everyday life, or to give up when faced with challenges. Undefined goals lead to a lack of focus, and without focus, it's almost impossible to stay motivated and on track. Think about how many times you've set a New Year's resolution or made a promise to yourself about a goal, only to lose sight of it within a few weeks. This is because, without a clear and actionable plan, these resolutions are nothing more than fleeting thoughts that don't have the structure needed to succeed. Principle. Clarity is the first step to achieving anything. The principle here is simple but powerful. Clarity is the first step to achieving anything. When you set clear, specific goals, you create a roadmap that makes it easier to stay focused and take consistent action. Clarity brings direction, and with direction, it's much easier to move forward. To create clarity, it's essential to answer the following questions. What exactly do I want to achieve? Why is this goal important to me? What will it look like when I've achieved it? For example, instead of saying, I want to get in shape, set a clear goal like, I want to lose 10 pounds in the next 3 months by exercising 4 times a week and following a healthy eating plan. This goal is specific, measurable, and time-bound. It gives you a clear target to aim for, and it makes it easier to break down the steps required to reach it. Picture the power of a clear vision. Imagine you're standing in front of a large map. The map is filled with different destinations, routes, and options. But unless you know where you want to go, the map is essentially useless. You might be able to wander around aimlessly, but you won't reach a specific destination unless you've marked it on the map. Now, imagine you've decided on a specific destination. You've plotted your route, identified the key stops along the way, and know exactly what you need to do to reach your goal. The map is no longer overwhelming. It's now a clear guide that helps you take the right steps to get where you want to be. Setting clear goals works the same way. When you have a clear destination in mind, you're no longer wandering aimlessly. You know exactly what you need to do, and you can follow the path step by step. Clarity gives you the focus and direction you need to move forward. Practice. How to set SMART goals. To ensure that your goals are clear and actionable, you can use the SMART criteria. Specific. Your goal should be clear and unambiguous. The more specific your goal, the easier it is to focus on it. For example, I want to read more books is vague. Instead, I will read 1 book per month for the next 6 months is specific. Measurable. You need a way to track your progress. Without a measurable goal, it's impossible to know when you've reached it. For example, I want to lose weight is not measurable. But I will lose 10 pounds in the next 3 months is measurable. Achievable. Your goals should be realistic and attainable. It's important to set goals that challenge you, but they should also be within your capacity to achieve. Setting an impossible goal will only lead to frustration and burnout. Relevant. Your goal should be meaningful to you and aligned with your values. If your goal isn't relevant to your life or your purpose, you'll struggle to stay motivated. Make sure your goals matter to you on a deep level. Time-bound. Set a deadline for achieving your goal. Without a time frame, there's no sense of urgency, and it becomes easier to procrastinate. For example, I will write a book should be turned into I will write my book by December 31st of this year. By setting SMART goals, you create a clear and actionable plan for success. You'll know exactly what you need to do and by when, and you'll have measurable milestones along the way to keep you on track. Chapter 6. Building Positive Habits for Long-Term Success. Habits are the foundation of long-term success. The actions you take every day, whether big or small, shape your life and determine the results you achieve. In this chapter, we will explore the power of habits, why they are essential for success, and how you can cultivate positive habits that will set you up for lasting achievement. Pain. The struggle with bad habits. We all have bad habits, whether it's procrastination, overeating, negative self-talk, or spending too much time on social media. These habits can slowly erode our potential for success. The challenge with bad habits is that they often feel harmless at first. They're easy to slip into, and they provide instant gratification. But over time, these small, seemingly insignificant actions add up and prevent us from reaching our full potential. Bad habits can derail our progress without us even realizing it. They often become ingrained in our daily routines, making them difficult to break. Worse yet, they can lead to feelings of guilt, frustration, and self-doubt, especially when we fail to change them. When you allow bad habits to take root in your life, they begin to take control, influencing your decisions and keeping you stuck in a cycle of mediocrity. The key to overcoming bad habits is to recognize their impact and take proactive steps to replace them with habits that move you closer to your goals. This requires intentional effort, consistency, and a willingness to break free from the comfort zone of old patterns. Principle: habits shape your future. The principle behind building positive habits is simple. The habits you cultivate today will determine your success tomorrow. Your daily habits create the foundation for your life. While it may seem that your current actions don't have an immediate impact, the truth is that your habits shape the trajectory of your life in profound ways. Consider the difference between someone who wakes up at 5 a.m. to work out every day and someone who hits the snooze button repeatedly. The person who wakes up early has built the habit of discipline, which eventually leads to better physical health, more energy, and a sense of accomplishment. Over time, this habit becomes a part of who they are, shaping their identity as someone who values health and consistency. On the other hand, someone who regularly hits snooze is reinforcing the habit of procrastination. While it may seem harmless at first, this small action compounds over time, leading to a pattern of delaying important tasks and missing out on opportunities. These habits may seem insignificant, but they accumulate and create a life that doesn't align with your goals. Picture the power of habitual action. Imagine a stone cutter working at a rock. Each time they strike the stone, they make a small chip, but the stone remains largely unchanged. After one strike, the stone may appear untouched. After 100 strikes, it may still look the same. But over time, with thousands of strikes, the stone begins to take shape. Slowly but surely, the stone is shaped into something beautiful. This is the power of habits. At first, your actions may seem small and the changes may be difficult to see. But with consistent effort, habits build on one another, creating significant, lasting change. Whether it's working on a business, writing a book, learning a new skill, or improving your health, consistent action over time will lead to monumental results. Small daily actions, when repeated, create lasting transformations. The key to building positive habits is to start small, stay consistent, and make incremental improvements. Here are some steps to help you develop habits that will propel you toward your goals. Start with one habit at a time. Trying to change everything at once can overwhelm you and lead to burnout. Start with one small habit that you can commit to daily. Whether it's waking up 10 minutes earlier to plan your day, exercising for 15 minutes a day, or reading for 20 minutes a day, begin with something manageable. Once that habit is solidified, you can add more. Make your habits non-negotiable. One of the reasons we fail to build positive habits is that we give ourselves an out. We tell ourselves, "I'll do it tomorrow," or "It's okay if I skip today." The key to building discipline is to make your habits non-negotiable. This means committing to your habits no matter what. If you want to be successful, you have to create a no-excuses mindset and treat your habits as essential, not optional. Track your progress. Tracking your habits helps you stay accountable and motivated. When you can visually see your progress, it reinforces the idea that your actions are leading to results. Use a habit tracker, a journal, or an app to keep track of the habits you're building. Celebrate your wins along the way to keep yourself motivated. Use habit stacking. Habit stacking is a strategy where you link a new habit to an existing one. For example, if you already have the habit of making coffee every morning, use that time to read a page of a book or do a quick workout. By stacking new habits onto existing ones, you make it easier to integrate them into your daily routine. Make it enjoyable. Building habits doesn't have to be a chore. Find ways to make your new habits enjoyable so that they become something you look forward to. Whether it's listening to a podcast while exercising or enjoying a warm cup of tea while reading, make your habits a positive experience. Be patient with yourself. Habits take time to build, and setbacks are a natural part of the process. If you slip up or miss a day, don't get discouraged. The key is to get back on track as soon as possible. Remember, consistency is more important than perfection. Prompt: reflect on your current habits. Take a moment to reflect on your current habits. What habits do I currently have that are helping me move toward my goals? What habits are holding me back from reaching my full potential? What is one habit I can start building today that will help me achieve my goals? Choose one habit to focus on and commit to practicing it every day. Chapter 7. Developing resilience and learning from failure. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from adversity, to keep going even when things don't go as planned. It's a critical component of success because failure is not a matter of if, but when. Everyone faces setbacks, makes mistakes, and encounters obstacles along their journey. The key to long-term success lies in how we respond to these challenges. In this chapter, we'll explore the power of resilience, how to build it, and how to turn failure into a valuable lesson for growth. Pain. The fear of failure. Failure can be a scary word. For many people, the fear of failure is so overwhelming that it prevents them from even trying. This fear can hold you back from taking risks, trying new things, or stepping outside your comfort zone. The idea of failing, of not meeting expectations, can be paralyzing. As a result, many people choose to play it safe, stick to what they know, and avoid any situation where they might fail. But the truth is, failure is inevitable. No matter how successful you become, you will face challenges. The question is not whether you will fail, but how you will handle failure when it comes. The fear of failure can keep you from reaching your true potential. It can cause you to avoid opportunities, delay important decisions, and live in a state of constant doubt. The good news is that failure doesn't have to be the end of the road. It can be a stepping stone to greater success. Resilience is about developing the mindset that failure is not something to fear, but something to learn from. The more resilient you become, the more you will embrace failure as part of the process of growth and achievement. Principle. Failure is part of the journey, not the end. The principle that successful people embrace is this: failure is part of the journey, not the end. Every setback, mistake, or challenge is an opportunity to learn, grow, and improve. Instead of viewing failure as a defeat, see it as a lesson that brings you closer to your goal. Many of the world's most successful people have failed multiple times before achieving their ultimate success. Take Thomas Edison, who failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb. Or J.K. Rowling, whose Harry Potter manuscript was rejected by dozens of publishers before becoming a global phenomenon. They didn't let failure define them. They used it as fuel to push forward. Success is not the absence of failure. It is the ability to persist in the face of failure. Building resilience means developing the capacity to keep going even when things don't go as planned. It's about cultivating the mental toughness that allows you to view challenges as opportunities rather than roadblocks. Picture the growth mindset. Imagine a tree growing in a forest. The tree faces countless challenges: harsh weather, lack of sunlight, soil that may not be ideal. Despite these challenges, the tree continues to grow. It may bend in the wind, lose leaves in the fall, or struggle to find water during a drought, but it never stops trying to reach for the sky. This is the power of resilience. Just like the tree, you will face difficult circumstances, but it's your ability to keep growing, to keep reaching for your goals, that determines your success. Resilience doesn't mean never failing. It means continuing to grow and improve in the face of adversity. Practice. Building resilience through small wins. Building. Resilience is not something that happens overnight. It's a skill that takes time to develop. However, there are concrete steps you can take to strengthen your resilience and make it a natural part of your mindset. Reframe your perspective on failure. Instead of seeing failure as something negative, reframe it as a learning experience. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can this help me improve? Every failure contains a lesson that, when embraced, brings you one step closer to success. Practice self-compassion. Resilient people are kind to themselves when they fail. They don't beat themselves up or dwell on their mistakes. Instead, they acknowledge that they are human and that failure is a normal part of the learning process. Treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would offer a friend going through the same experience. Setbacks are temporary. One of the keys to resilience is remembering that setbacks are temporary. Even in the face of failure, remind yourself that this moment is just a small part of the larger journey. Keep your eyes on the bigger picture and trust that every challenge you face is an opportunity for growth. Develop a strong support system. Surround yourself with people who support you and believe in your potential. A strong support system can help you stay focused during difficult times and remind you that failure is not the end of the road. Lean on others when needed and let them help you through tough times. Stay focused on your long-term vision. Resilience is about maintaining your commitment to your long-term goals, even when the short-term challenges seem overwhelming. When faced with setbacks, revisit your why. Why did you start this journey in the first place? Keeping your long-term vision in mind will help you stay motivated and focused on the bigger picture, no matter what obstacles arise. Prompt: reflecting on past failures. Take a moment to reflect on past failures or challenges you've faced. What failure or setback have I experienced that taught me the most? How did I respond to that failure, and what did I learn from it? What can I do today to become more resilient in the face of future challenges? Use this reflection to shift your mindset and approach future obstacles with strength and determination. Chapter 8. Taking consistent action and evaluating your progress. Success isn't a result of one big action, it's the culmination of consistent efforts over time. In this chapter, we will focus on the power of consistent action, how to keep yourself accountable, and the importance of regularly evaluating your progress to ensure that you're moving in the right direction toward your goals. Pain. The pitfalls of inconsistent effort. We've all experienced the excitement of starting something new. Whether it's a project, a fitness routine, or a business idea, the initial spark of motivation feels like a rush. You start strong, fully committed, with big plans in place. But as time passes, the enthusiasm fades, and it becomes easy to skip one day here, miss a deadline there, or delay making progress because you feel tired or overwhelmed. Slowly, what started with great potential begins to lose momentum. Inconsistent effort is the killer of progress. When you start and stop repeatedly, it's like taking 2 steps forward and then 1 step back. Over time, this inconsistency leads to stagnation. You'll find yourself stuck in the same place, unable to break free from the cycle of starting over again and again. The gap between where you are and where you want to be widens, leaving you feeling frustrated and discouraged. The pain of inconsistency is that it prevents you from making real progress. It's the reason many people never achieve their goals. They start, but they don't follow through. They set a new goal, but without taking consistent action, they never get any closer to their desired outcome. Principle: consistency is the secret to achievement. The principle behind consistent action is simple. Consistency is the secret to achievement. No matter how grand your vision or how powerful your goals, they will remain out of reach unless you take consistent action toward them. The key to long-term success is not sporadic bursts of effort, but the steady, persistent actions you take each day, no matter how small they may seem. You've probably heard the phrase, "It's the journey, not the destination." This applies to success as well. The process of working toward your goals every day is where the magic happens. The small, seemingly insignificant actions you take each day compound over time to create significant change. The trick is to keep going, even when you don't see immediate results. It's about committing to the long haul and trusting that your efforts will eventually pay off. Every action you take, no matter how small, brings you closer to your desired outcome. Over time, these actions build momentum, and eventually they lead to extraordinary results. Think of success as a marathon, not a sprint. It's not about how fast you go, but how consistently you keep moving forward. Picture the power of small daily actions. Imagine you're building a house. Each brick represents a small action you take toward your goal. At first, you only have 1 or 2 bricks, and the house seems far from completion. But day after day, you continue to lay brick after brick. Eventually, those small actions start to build on one another, and before you know it, the house starts to take shape. What seemed like a slow process is now a tangible structure that's growing stronger and more defined with every brick you add. This is the power of consistent action. Even when the results aren't immediately obvious, your efforts are laying the foundation for future success. Over time, those daily actions turn into something much larger and more impactful. The house you build is a reflection of the consistent effort you've put in, brick by brick, day after day. Practice how to stay consistent and keep moving forward. Staying consistent, especially when motivation fades, can be challenging. But with the right strategies, you can develop a routine that makes consistency easier. Here are a few techniques to help you maintain consistent action and stay on track. Create a daily routine. A daily routine provides structure and consistency. It helps you prioritize your goals and ensures that you're taking action every day, even when motivation is low. Schedule time each day for the tasks that move you closer to your goal, and treat it like a non-negotiable commitment. Break down tasks into manageable steps. Large tasks can feel overwhelming, leading to procrastination. Instead, break them down into smaller, more manageable steps. Focus on one task at a time and take small actions each day. This makes it easier to stay on track and reduces the likelihood of feeling overwhelmed. Set realistic expectations. One of the biggest barriers to consistency is setting unrealistic goals or expectations. If your goals are too ambitious or you're trying to do too much at once, it's easy to become discouraged and give up. Set achievable, bite-sized goals that you can realistically accomplish within a set time frame. Track your progress. Tracking your progress is a powerful motivator. It gives you a visual representation of how far you've come and helps you see that your actions are paying off. Whether you use a journal, an app, or a simple checklist, tracking your progress helps you stay accountable and reminds you of the momentum you're building. Celebrate small wins. Consistent action leads to progress, but sometimes that progress can feel slow. Celebrate your small wins along the way. Take time to acknowledge the steps you've taken and the goals you've accomplished, no matter how small they seem. These celebrations keep you motivated and reinforce the idea that consistency is working. Focus on habits, not willpower. Willpower is a finite resource. Trying to rely on willpower alone to maintain consistency will eventually lead to burnout. Instead, focus on building habits. Habits are automatic, and they take the decision-making out of the equation. The more you turn your actions into habits, the less you'll need to rely on willpower. To ensure you're staying on track, regularly evaluate your progress. What actions have I taken in the past week to move closer to my goal? What obstacles have I faced, and how can I overcome them? What adjustments can I make to ensure that I stay on track in the coming week? Use these reflections to fine-tune your approach and ensure that you're consistently moving forward. As we conclude this journey, it's important to reflect on the key principles we've discussed in this audiobook. Each chapter has provided valuable insights and actionable steps to help you take control of your life, build lasting success, and overcome the challenges that inevitably arise along the way. The first step toward success is taking yourself seriously. This means shifting your mindset and believing that you are capable of achieving great things. Success doesn't happen by accident. It happens when you commit to showing up every day and making deliberate decisions that align with your long-term vision. When you take yourself seriously, you stop waiting for the perfect moment and start making the moment perfect through consistent action. We've discussed how to master your emotions, how to acknowledge, manage, and use them to your advantage rather than letting them control you. Emotions are powerful signals that can guide your decisions, but only if you learn to respond thoughtfully and not react impulsively. Emotional awareness and mastery allow you to stay focused, calm, and resilient, even in the face of adversity. Building self-discipline is essential to long-term success. It's not about forcing yourself to work harder. It's about committing to consistency and doing the right things, even when it's inconvenient or uncomfortable. Self-discipline is what keeps you moving forward when motivation fades, and it is the bedrock upon which success is built. It's the small, disciplined actions you take daily that compound over time and lead to extraordinary results. We've also tackled procrastination and excuses, the silent killers of progress. Procrastination stems from fear, doubt, and a lack of clarity. By taking small, manageable steps, breaking tasks down, and focusing on immediate action, you can overcome procrastination and stay focused on what matters most. Remember, action overcomes resistance. The more you act, the easier it becomes to take the next step. Setting clear and actionable goals is another key principle we've explored. Success is not random, it's the result of having a clear vision and a structured plan. The SMART goal framework: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound, provides the clarity and direction you need to stay on track and measure your progress. Your goals are the map that guides you on your journey, and by breaking them down into actionable steps, you can steadily move toward your destination. Building positive habits is what makes success sustainable. It's not about making big, dramatic changes all at once. It's about small, consistent actions that become second nature over time. The habits you build today will shape the person you become tomorrow. Whether it's a habit of exercise, reading, or practicing gratitude, these small habits add up to create the life you desire. Resilience is what enables you to face failure with courage and bounce back stronger each time you fall. Failure is inevitable, but it doesn't have to be the end of the road. Every failure is a lesson that brings you closer to your goal. Building resilience means learning to embrace failure as part of the journey, not as a sign of defeat. When you persist through challenges, you grow stronger and more capable of achieving your dreams. Finally, we've learned the importance of taking consistent action. Success doesn't happen overnight, but through small, deliberate steps taken every day. It's the compound effect of consistent action that leads to monumental change. By focusing on daily progress and evaluating your actions regularly, you ensure that you stay on the right path toward your goals. Your path forward. Now that you have the tools, the strategies, and the mindset to succeed, it's time to take action. The journey ahead won't always be easy, but with the principles we've covered, you're equipped to face any challenge that comes your way. Stay focused, stay committed, and remember that success is not defined by a single moment. It's the result of consistent effort, resilience, and the choices you make each day. Success is not reserved for a select few. It is available to anyone who is willing to take action, learn from their failures, and keep moving forward. The only thing standing between you and your success is the commitment to take consistent action toward your goals. Remember, you don't need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent. Keep believing in yourself, take action every day, and never stop growing. Your journey to success starts right now.